We're going to take a look then at similar triangles. So similar triangles, first of all, what are similar triangles? Similar triangles are two triangles where there are two or more angles that you have are the same. So if I look at these two examples of triangles here, I can see that I have an 80, a 60 and a 40 in each of them. This means that the two triangles are similar. Not only does it mean that they're similar, it means that the lengths of the sides have to be a scale of each other. So if I look at these two here, I know that these two are similar triangles because if I take my 5 and I put it over my 10, it's the exact same thing as me taking my 4, going from the side here first, and putting it over 8, and the same as the 6 over 12. So if I can make a ratio there, then that also means that I have similar triangles. So if we look at our first question here, can these triangles be similar? So if I'm looking to check and see if triangles are similar, I'm either going to need to prove the angles or I'm going to need to prove using the ratio of the sides. So if I look at this, I'm going to prove using the ratio of the sides because I don't know enough about the angles. And because I don't know if the triangles are in the right order, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put largest with largest, smallest with smallest, and then middle with middle. So if I look at this, I can say here that if I start again with the smallest triangle, I don't have to start with the smallest, but I'm going to just start with the smallest in this case. 8 over 10, so it's the largest over the largest, should equal the middle one over the middle one, and that should equal the smallest over the smallest. Now if I break these down, I see that this is 4 over 5. I see that this is 3 over 4, and I see this is 2 over 3. So none of them are equal, so no, these are not similar triangles then. Okay, so let's take a look at another question then. Okay, this question's already done first. So it says, given two triangles are similar, find x. Now, if I look at these, they have given me that this angle and this angle are the same, which means that I now know that this side and this side are going to be the same, and then this side and this side are going to be the same. Or not the same, they're going to be in a ratio to each other. So for that one then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 over 21 as one fraction. I'm going to let it equal x over 14. So it doesn't matter what triangle you start on, as long as whatever one you start on for the first fraction, you start on the same one for the second fraction. So I can write this as 3 over 21 equals x over 14, or I could have written it as 21 over 3 equals, start on the larger triangle again, 14 over x. And all you're doing there is you're letting the ratio equal each other. So you're then going to solve and find your value of x. So I've cross multiplied here with the red arrows or the red lines. And I'm getting 3 by 14 gives me 42. And then 21 by x is 21x. So I divide across by 21 to get my x on its own. And I get x equals 2. So that's just a very kind of basic question that you can be asked. Okay, let's take a look then at one last little thing before we do our last triangle, our last question. If I look at this question here, if I'm given two triangles and I can see that I have one angle the same, the other angles are not the same. What I need to do is I need to check first, are they similar? So checking are they similar, I know 30 and 102. If I take that away from, that's 132. If I take that away from 180, I end up with 48. And then if I check the other triangle, that must mean that that's also a 30. So I do have similar triangles here, but they're in a different order. So what I need to do first is I need to make sure that I'm looking at them in the correct orders. So if I just draw out one of them, I've drawn out the larger triangle here. It doesn't matter what way I draw it out, but I make sure that I put in my three angles. So I have my 102, I have my 30, and I have my 48. And then I label the triangle accordingly. So I know that the 48 has the N letter, I know 30 has the M, and then 102 is the L. And then I'm putting in my sides, my LN being Y, my ML being 10, and my MN being 16. So I must draw the other triangle in the same direction with the 48 at the top, the 30 on the left, and the 102 degrees on the right hand side of the triangle. And I label in my triangle then. I label in my triangle the same. So I label in my points G, F, E, and label in my sides. So if I'm going to try this question, then what I've done now is I've created so that I can very easily pick out that the 16 over the 14. So going this one over this one. So now I started on the left triangle or the larger triangle. So I must start on the larger triangle for the next one. Is going to equal 10 over x. And what I can do here is, again, I can cross multiply. And I can get 16x equals 140. Sorry. Equals 140. So x comes out to be 140 divided by 16. That's 8.75. If I take a look at the next part, then I have found x. I need to still find y. So to find y, what I'm doing is I'm using 16 over 14 equals y over 7. Cross multiply again. 16 by 7 gives me 112 equals 14y. So y comes out to be 8. Okay? So last question we're going to take a look at then is one that comes up quite often, something that looks like this. So here I have given that the side AB and ED are parallel, prove the triangle are similar, and find the length of the missing side. So to prove triangles are similar, what I need to do is I need to prove at least 2 angles. Now I can prove the third angle using whatever method I want, but as long as I've proved 2 angles, I can say then that all triangles have to add up to give 180 degrees. Therefore, these 2 triangles must be similar. So we need a minimum of 2 pieces of information and then the statement of all angles add up to 180 degrees. Or you can get 3 pieces of information and they have to be the 3 angles. Or you can do it using the 3 sides. So you can do, in this case here, if you had the 3 sides of each triangle, you can prove it using ratios as well. So for this one, what we're going to do is, because we don't have the 3 sides of each triangle, we're going to have to use angles. We've been told one piece of information, and that is that AB is parallel to ED. So I know that this is parallel to this. I'm going to put arrows on that to show that. So if they're parallel, then what I can say is I know that this side here and this side here, they're going to be the same because they're alternate angles. So I can say the angle ABC equals the angle CED. There's one piece of information, okay? And my reason then, I'll put at the side alternate. Sorry. Okay, so if I look for my next piece of information then, I also see that this angle here is equal to this angle here. And they're opposite angles. So I write now that angle ACB equals angle ECD, and they're opposite. Okay, now my third angle, what I can do here is I can write that this angle here is equal to this angle here, because they're alternate, but also I could have just said that the last angle must equal the last angle because all angles add to give you 180. So I'm going to use the alternate just because it's quicker to write that, but you can use either way. So the angle BAC equals angle CDE, and they're alternate. Sorry, alternate. Okay, so all I write then at the end is therefore they are similar. So if we go back now and we do our question, find the length of the missing side. So I'm looking to find x here. I need to make sure that my triangles are in the right order. So I'm going to draw out the large triangle here. Make that a bit bigger, just so it's easier to draw onto. And that is CED. I know I have my blue dot here. I have my yellow dot here and my green dot. And using colours helps because it makes it a lot easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to label in my sides then, and my sides are 8x and 12.8. If I draw in my other triangle then, the smaller triangle, I'm going to put it in the same order. Sorry, wrong one. I'm going to put it in the same order. Okay, I know that the angle E is the blue one, so that's the same as B. I know that then the green angle is the top one, that's at C. And I know the yellow angle is to the right, and that's A. So it makes it much easier when you're using kind of colours and stuff like that to see it. So I'm going to put that dot there, put that colour dot there, and that colour dot there. And then I can label this in. I know that between A and B is the length of 8. I know between B and C is the length of 5. And then C and A is the length of 6. So it makes it much easier. It stops any kind of errors happening. So if I want to go and actually do this question, then all I have to write is, I can write that 8 over 5, that is equal to x over 6. Okay, so 8 over 5 equals x over 6. I could have said 6 over 8 equals 5 over x. I could have said 12.8 over 8 equals x over 5. Loads of different options there. So this just happens to be one. I'm going to cross multiply. So 6 eighths are going to give me 48 is equal to 5x. Divide both sides by 5. So x comes out to be 9